Welcome back. In this session, we are going to be talking about operational excellence, the pillar, and of course, what are the design principles around it. We will walk through and understand each of these in detail, and we will run through what it constitutes for. Perform operation with code. So, the first one that is suggests that is to try and convert all your operational tasks into code that is automated to an extent by templatizing it. So first thing is workload as code is to ensure that all your operational tasks that is in place which is repetitive and can be templatized, do that. Convert all your tasks into code so that it ensures minimal intervention required from your end. So that's the first bit. Next one that I would like to talk about is make it event driven. In case of a particular event and your operation needs to be done, that's where you ensure that all your operational tasks are event driven. A good example is consider your uh, service down or your EBS volume is full. In this case, you could probably check what is in place and run a script to probably clear the logs or run a script internally to work that through. So this is just a basic example that I'm talking about that you could you know refer to. But there are various other cases. In case of a downtime which is occurring, what are the tasks to be done? What are the workflows to be done? Based on that event, you can do it. So the idea is make operations as code to limit human error, right? So this to ensure that you have uh, minimal human intervention and hence human error as well, right? So, next design principle that we would talk about under operational excellence is make frequent, small, and reversible changes. What do I mean by this? Is basically ensure you are reducing the blast radius by making small incremental changes and updates and automating these changes. All of this would mean that you are able to deliver small micro uh, deliverables, and the blast radius for it reduces, and you have frequent updates going out to the production environment. So that's one. The next design principle that we will be talking about is to ensure to revisit your operational procedures periodically. Here, where I mean that you would have your required procedures in place, but are your team and you aware about those procedures first? And is the procedures being evolved with time as your workload evolves, right? So, evolve procedures as workload evolves, which is very critical. And next is to make yourself self aware by participating in periodical game days. So, it could be a quarterly or a half yearly activity where you run through and ensure that you are aware, you and your team are aware about the SOPs in place and you're able to practice them, right? So the next few design principles under operational excellence would be self-explanatory, and the two of them are learn from all operational failures and of course anticipate failures to ensure that you are able to gather all the information and improvise on those learnings that you have had from a particular operational activity that you have done. So try and document it, evolve it, and ensure that you are able to tackle it in an automated way the next for the next occurrence. And fine, and of course, all said and done, anticipate failure and have an SOP in place in case there is a failure. How do you tackle it as well? So these are the few design principles that we spoke about. Uh, I took very broad examples, but think how this is applicable to the scope of work and the job tasks that you do on a daily basis. How you could adopt it for ensuring operational excellence and reducing the manual work that is done for redundant work that is done by you on a daily basis. right? So, what are the best practices under this pillar? Is first is organization wide understanding. Try and understand the best practices being done by various teams. We will try and standardize that. But that having said, ensure that you understand the best practices, evangelize the best practices that you do, share it with your team. The team will learn, and similarly, this way, entire ecosystem builds into practice the best practices and the do's and the don'ts under it. Next is prepare. Prepare for operational excellence. Always be aware of what is to be done by periodical game days. Ensure you are ready with it and you're evolving it while you operate those SOPs. So that's what I wanted to call out under the operational excellence pillar. In summary, is to learn and understand the needs of the stakeholders, to ensure that you are able to address what is the need for your project team, for the customer team, learn and understand the needs of the stakeholders and accordingly take the required decisions, and efficiently support the business outcomes by automating procedures, evolving the procedures from time to time, and making based decisions. So that's a wrap on the operational excellence pillar. If you have any questions, reach out. Next up, we will be talking about security pillar. Thank you.